Weathering the weather with Ed. Sometimes he's cranky, sometimes he's goofy, but he's always got a joke. Before I met him, I said meteorology. Hey, guy, that's not for me. But now I'm weathering the weather with Ed.
Hi there, sports fans.
Hello.
You're starting already?
I never
You're
stopped.
wearing what? You're wearing a lovely, what color is this? Lavender?
I don't know.
Thank you.
I lost
It's
count.
available for $29.99. This
Not
hour
anymore, it's
only,
not.
exit 32. All right. We're going to do, hey, don't you hate that? We're gonna?
Are we
We're
going
going to do,
to do?
yes, we're going to do,
We're having a nice to do today?
stop it. We're doing the How Weather Has Changed History Part 4, or as I like to do in class, there you go.
That's 3.
I know, but that's they don't pay attention. All right, this is George Washington crossing the Delaware, and I can't read this. But,
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you. But you remember here? You remember the photo? You remember the photo?
I remember that photo.
The famous photo of George Washington crossing the Delaware.
He was there.
I was for the Big Bang. Now watch somebody call in. What the heck was the Big Bang?
I
All
have to
right,
explain that one too.
man. It was the boat, and the guy up front is General Washington, and I'm the guy in the back going, "Hey George, sit down. You're rocking the boat, huh? Come on now."
That was when you had hair.
What?
That was when you had hair.
No, I didn't. It's covered up. All right, so here we go. Go right ahead.
All right. George Washington's crossing of the Delaware River.
Is that in Delaware or something?
It might be.
Could be. All right.
I don't know.
I don't either.
Can't find.
Would you?
No, it's actually New Jersey.
Close enough.
2 different states. All right. Washington's plan required the crossing to begin as soon as it was dark enough to conceal their movements on the river. But most of the troops did not reach the crossing point until about 6 p.m., about 90 minutes after sunset. The weather got progressively worse, turning from drizzle to rain to sleet to snow.
I hope this was winter.
It blew a hurricane, recalled one soldier.
I don't think so.
I think that was you.
That was me, yeah. I was in the latrine, kind of.
Washington, along with commanders John Sullivan, Nathaniel Greene, John Glover, and Henry Knox, crossed the Delaware River with 2,400 troops.
Wait a minute, John Glover, doesn't he sing or dance? Isn't there?
I don't know. I'm familiar with his
John
brother
Sullivan
Danny.
was a boxer, right? Or John L.
I don't know.
Okay.
2,400 troops, 18 cannons, baggage, and about 50 to 75 horses.
Baggage?
Baggage.
Where were they going?
They were taking an ocean voyage.
Did they check it?
No.
It was in the
It
overhead
was all
rack.
carry-on.
It was in the overhead rack, yeah. You're killing me here with this. Go ahead.
They crossed at McCorkey's Ferry Inn.
Oh, a Jewish place.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I knew them.
Sign of the star up there, yeah.
They used Durham boats. Not,
No, really?
not Amherst boats.
Oh,
Durham
sorry.
boats.
Yeah, Durham, yeah. UNH.
Ferry
Right,
boats and other crafts.
Ferry boats?
Ferry boats.
Yeah, okay, good. Like the Staten Island Ferry. Yes.
Washington had given charge of the crossing logistics to his chief of artillery.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah.
Gunned them down Moses. That's
Yeah,
where he was.
the portly Henry Knox.
The portly?
The portly.
He was drinking a lot. All right.
Yeah, and eating a lot too.
Yeah, well.
In addition to the crossing of large numbers of troops, most of whom could not swim.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, well, great.
He had to safely transport 18 pieces of artillery and the horses to move them over the river.
The horses couldn't walk? I guess so.
No, they'd
All right.
float. I don't think they float either.
No, when they're dead, they probably. Go ahead.
Knox wrote that the crossing was accomplished with almost infinite difficulty,
No kidding.
and that its most significant danger was floating ice in the river.
That could be a problem.
Just small
You
problem.
should have called up the captain of the Titanic.
Yeah.
What?
I think they were a couple hundred years early, but you know.
Well, they had a feeling.
Yeah. They could have just written about it and sent it to
Some
him.
feelings. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No
What-
cat sound.
One observer noted that the whole operation might well have failed but for the stentorian lungs of Colonel Knox.
I beg your pardon? What does that mean?
I have the
He was
faintest
afloat
idea.
underneath the water?
Yeah.
Knox. All right. Chuck
Possibly.
Knox. Pittsburgh.
No, Henry.
Oh, Henry Knox. Go ahead.
Washington was among the first of the troops to cross, going with Virginia troops led by General Adam Stephen, not Stephen Adam. These troops formed a
What?
sentry line
Yes.
around the landing area in New Jersey, with strict instructions that no one was to pass through.
Luckily, nobody's watching in New Jersey.
Thank
Oh, I
God.
think they are. Go ahead.
The password was victory or death.
Oh, great. I'll choose victory.
Which option would you like?
I'll go with victory for 200, Alex.
The rest of the Army crossed without significant incident, although a few men, including Delaware's Colonel John Haslett, fell into the water.
Halfwit?
Haslett.
Aslet?
Haslett.
Oh, Haslett. Oh, sorry.
Haslett.
Fell in the water because he was an ass. All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
right? The amount of ice on the river prevented the artillery from finishing the crossing until 3 a.m. on December 26th.
Why didn't they try calling in the U.S. Marines? They would have gotten them across. 1, 2, 3, right?
I doubt that.
Yeah. They would have.
The troops were not ready to march until 4 a.m.
Well, they were tired.
Apparently. The two other crossings fared less well. The treacherous weather and ice jams on the river stopped General Ewing from even attempting a crossing below Trenton.
Was that Patrick Ewing of the Knicks?
I don't think so.
How, what are you reading everything there?
I'm reading what I underlined.
Oh, that's just, folks, it's very small. That's why I can't read it.
Here's a
Oh, that's
here's a
sad.
nice name.
Watching what-
Colonel Cadwalader.
Cavalier. Yes, he's in Cleveland. Cavalier.
No, Cadwalader.
What will later? Hey, he was the head of CAD-CAM. All right.
Yes.
General, I'll drink to that. Oh,
Crossed a
bullshit.
significant portion of his men to New Jersey, but when he found that he could not get his artillery across the river, he recalled his men from New Jersey.
And they said, thanks.
When he received word about Washington's victory, he crossed his men over again, but retreated when he found out that Washington had not stayed in New Jersey.
I guess they didn't use emails or text.
Not at that point in time. I think
No.
they were still using,
Toe tapping.
you know,
All right.
snail mail and regular telephones.
Okay. I guess the cord didn't stretch across.
No.
All right. That's
Not too far.
wonderful. That's thank you.
Thank
now, you. No, thank you. Don't start. Now we have any questions from the audience who's not here? Thank you.
I got
Yes,
nothing.
you asked 5,000 people to come. Who the heck shows up? Nobody.
I showed
oh,
up.
You did, but you're on stage. Okay, this is, it's my bar mitzvah speech.
I heard that somewhere.
Did weather affect the Civil War? It was a strange
Same
speech.
time
Yes,
period
yes.
anyways.
All right, the American Civil War, for those of you who don't know it, 1861 to 1865. Over 600, this is the most disgusting and stupid part.
Yes, it is.
Over 600,000 Americans were killed. Well, no kidding, because they're fighting Americans against them. Man, that's brilliant. More than any other war combined to this date. Well, if we keep getting involved in wars that we shouldn't be in the first place, we could keep this going.
Well, this one we kind of had to be involved in. We don't really have a choice.
True. Surprisingly, the weather shaped the Civil War, and in so many cases, yes. Was the reason either the North, which is the Union, what is this? We don't know, or the South, which is Confederacy, won or lost battles? Please take it away, because I don't think I can hack this. All right. It was the evening. Jeez.
Thank
Lots
you.
to read there. We're down to 1944.
Where'd you get to?
I did, right there. May have to skip a few
Oh.
because we got a hell of a line here.
The period directly before the Civil War was known as the Little Ice Age.
I remember her. Little Eva.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
great girl.
I don't know.
By the time the Civil War began, the Earth was coming out of this ice age and into a warming trend.
I was off. I don't know.
However, this did not mean it was warm.
Oh, no,
No.
no. Especially in winter.
The winters in Virginia and other areas of the South were extremely cold and snowy during the Civil War period.
I remember. We
I know
played
you
ice
do.
hockey out there.
Yeah, with cannonballs.
Is that why I got a double hernia?
Yes,
Okay. You told me not to. I hate kicking off. Well, we don't kick off in hockey.
not in hockey, you
But
don't.
you didn't tell me that.
One of the most famous weather-related incidents during the Civil War was the Great Snowball Battle on March 22nd, 1864.
You got to do what you got to do.
in Dalton, Georgia.
Oh, yeah, because what is this? In Dalton, Georgia?
Right?
Continue, please.
What began as a snowball fight between lower ranks in the Confederate Army of Tennessee eventually drew in entire regiments. Didn't they just have one of those this year, too? Great Snowball Battle in Atlanta?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they did.
Oh,
They
wait,
do
that was ice.
They do that in London when it snows because everything stops.
Yeah.
So they still have
Yeah.
a snowball fight. What else are you gonna do?
Well, they had to get it from somewhere.
Ye-
Might as well have gotten it from the governor of Atlanta, governor of Georgia.
Never mind. Just continue.
The weather during the Civil War helped determine overall strategy, as well as tactics on the battlefield.
No kidding.
Generals would watch the skies to decide when to begin spring campaigns. dealt with flooded rivers which sometimes stopped progress of entire regiments.
It could happen.
It
Not to
did,
mention the horses that were afraid of water.
right? And made their men endure the extremes of the southern climate where almost all of the fighting took place.
Would you want it in New York City? The Mets
never
were there,
know.
you know? Come on. 1740, go ahead. Pick it up.
What are you mumbling about?
Where are you?
While exposure to the elements affected every soldier at some point during the Civil War, the prisoners of war perhaps had it worse.
No kidding.
At Andersonville in Georgia, one of the most
Oh.
notorious and awful Confederate prisons.
Didn't we cover
and
that already? With the
No.
Sewers and all that stuff. That was Sumter. Go ahead. Did you lose your place?
Yes, I did. You keep interrupting me.
You have no constipation.
One of the most notorious and awful Confederate prisons, and at other prison camps, men built simple shelters in an attempt to shield themselves from the elements, yet they found little relief in their exposed cells. Most of the men had only rags to protect their skin and feet, and thousands died of diseases related to exposure and starvation.
Great.
Not
We're
for
all
them.
Americans, so what the heck, huh? Let me see this for a moment. Oh, good, it's ending.
Yeah,
Isn't it another page?
I got
Ho,
this.
ho, we better skip around here.
I'll get there.
Skip around? No, we're down to 1639.
Weather during the Civil War was one of the most often recorded events by soldiers and civilians.
What are they going to talk about? The dates they didn't have?
Yeah. Most Civil War soldiers found themselves in new surroundings and therefore experienced different weather than what they were used to.
No kidding.
In addition, both Confederate and Union men spent most of their time outdoors with very little shelter, and therefore weather had a great influence on their health and
What about the
well-being.
Union women? They weren't there?
No,
I
they
guess
didn't
they
let
hadn't
them.
joined the Teamsters yet.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to have to skip some.
With no relief from extreme hot or cold, many soldiers would die from heat exhaustion or freeze to death while marching from place to place.
Great. She's now editing as she goes. Who's she? I want to tell you.
September 1862 brings the sinking of the Union USS Monitor after its battle, known as the Battle of the Ironclads, with the Confederate ship CSS Virginia, formerly known as the Merrimack.
Right out here in the river.
Yeah,
Mighty
no
Merrimack.
K. The Monitor sinks off the coast of North Carolina after an enormous storm.
Keep going.
One survivor, Francis Butts, wrote,
Francis Butts?
yes,
Are you
Francis
kidding me?
Butts,
What
wrote,
did they call him?
you
Never
don't want to
mind,
know.
Never mind.
The weather was heavy, with dark, stormy-looking clouds
All right, I'm
and a
getting
westerly
heavy here,
wind.
too. Hold it. I mean, we can't spend all this time on this.
Hey, I'm editing as I go along. I'm
Finally, General Sherman. You remember him.
Yes, I'll get down there.
Just do it, please. We're running out of time.
Finally, Union General William Sherman's infamous 1865 March to the Sea occurred during torrential rainstorms. The soldiers were forced to march through knee-deep mud. As they marched, Confederate forces weren't able to stop them. The weather listed as one of the reasons. Although at this time, the Confederate Army was all but defeated.
That would help, too.
Yeah, usually does. Sherman moved almost untouched, destroying everything in his path from Georgia through South Carolina.
That was brilliant, so we could rebuild it later. Yeah, we got everybody to hate the North. That was smart, very smart.
The Civil War forever changed America. It was a time in our history that was filled with tragedy, but also planted seeds of hope. Those seeds were watered by the weather, which impacted and perhaps changed the outcome of many battles, maybe even the Civil War itself.
Should we sing God Bless America now? All right.
No, the Battle Hymn of the Republic.
1900, the Galveston Hurricane. This thing helped. It was an idiot, and I do mean an idiot. See, they had what's that war? The war in Spain, no, Cuba.
Who?
There was a war in Cuba with Teddy Roosevelt running up some hill backwards. Cuban forecasters were correct on the path of the hurricane. American forecasters were idiots. But there again, even then in 1900, we Americans, you stupid, right? No
Of
wonder why
course.
they hated us.
They still do.
And so, well, there was a guy in charge of hurricane forecasting in Galveston. He didn't know his blank from his elbow. Oh, it looks fine to me, no problem. And the Cubans were going, I don't think so. Even Speedy
That
Gonzales
doesn't
was
sound
there.
Cuban to me.
It doesn't. All right.
That's the worst Cuban accent I've ever heard.
He's from New York. He was in the South Bronx. Cisco.
God.
I don't know. Yeah, God wasn't. All right. So he said that let's prepare for nothing, but let's not. And he built these houses. What? They built these houses hurricane-proof.
Nothing's
Right.
hurricane-proof.
Oh, yeah. Great. It was on PBS. I hate to keep saying PBS because I can't spell it. All right. Here's some read that, please.
Thank you.
Preparation.
Preparations, not
You don't have to
reparations.
repeat what I just said.
Not reparations.
Go ahead.
Weather Bureau forecasters believe the storm would travel northeast and affect the mid-Atlantic coast. To
Well,
them,
first of all, I don't think Galveston's on the Mid-Atlantic.
Not
it's in
quite,
the Gulf.
no.
Yeah, the
looks
Gulf.
a little bit west.
Yeah, the Gulf. Keep going.
To them, the storm appeared to have begun a long turn or recurve that would take it first into Florida.
Recurve means it's going to come up the eastern seaboard. But the Cubans said, no, Cisco. What the hell? It was Ricky Ricardo trying to be He is Cuban. Or was. Go ahead.
I thought he said he was cute, and yes, he is.
Lucy.
Was.
He's dead. Lucy?
You ain't no Ricky Ricardo.
Well, you ain't Lucille Ball. You want to get rough about this?
I never thought I was.
All right.
That
Boy,
would
was
take
she
it
hot when
first
she was
into
young.
Florida.
Wait a minute. She was really hot when she was young. She was a model.
On fire?
She was on fire. Go ahead.
Let me find the place in my sentence. That would take it first into Florida, then drive it northeast toward an eventual exit into the
Was it
Atlantic.
a Toyota that would drive northeast?
Yeah.
But we digress. Go ahead.
No, it was a Ford.
What happened here is What happened here is that the U.S. people are idiots. They were idiots. So they had no real proportions, no real
Proportions.
We're safe. Don't worry about it. And the jerk walked the beach that day. Too bad he didn't walk it there when the hurricane came on shore.
Just walk straight, not sideways.
Galveston was destroyed. And guess what happened to his job?
It was destroyed.
Should have drowned the sucker. Oh, wait, I died. And the Cubans are going, see, with a Hebrew accent. Don't ask me why, I don't know.
Cuban
There's a lot of Jewish Cubans running
adamantly
around.
disagreed, saying the hurricane would continue west. One Cuban forecaster predicted the hurricane would continue into central Texas near San Antonio.
Yeah, but San Antonio's inland. I tell you right now, that's going to be a problem.
A little bit.
Well,
Early the next morning, the swells continued despite only partly cloudy skies.
yeah, that's the Forerunner. You remember the Forerunner? We're down to 10 minutes. What else we got here? What else we got?
I got one more sentence left.
What's on the next one?
I wasn't going to do the next one.
There's nothing
There's a
there?
little teeny part.
All
That's
right,
okay.
go to that because we have to get the Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un. In historiography, the hurricane and the rebuilding.
Historiography?
That's what you wrote.
What?
That's what they wrote. And that's what you circled.
That's not a word. I don't think so. Watch it is. All right, anybody watching, please send in whether it's a word or not.
Historiography.
Probably my squirrel will call in. Go ahead.
The hurricane and the rebuilding afterward divide what is known as the Golden Era, which is 1875 to 1900,
That's when they had a real good thing going.
from the Open Era, 1920 to 1957, of Galveston. The most important long-term
was
impact.
that singer there? Galveston.
I have no idea.
Yeah, you know who he was.
No.
Glenn Campbell. Thanks.
That one.
Thanks, Mr. Fox. Glenn Campbell. I got that one.
The most important long-term impact of the hurricane was to confirm fears that Galveston was a dangerous place to make major investments
No kidding.
in shipping and manufacturing operations. The economy of the Golden Era was no longer
Golden.
possible as investors fled. In 1920, prohibition and tax law enforcement opened up new opportunities for criminal enterprises related to the gambling and bootlegging in the city.
Thank you. We don't bootleg. That's a play in football. Are you at the end?
Almost. I have one sentence left.
All right, one sentence left. Then we're going to go on to Donora. You remember her.
Galveston rapidly became a prime resort destination enabled by the open vice businesses on the
I
island.
beg your pardon. We didn't have that in the Jewish Himalayas and the Catskills. No.
This new entertainment-based economy brought decades-long prosperity to the island.
Well, whoopee for them.
So strangely enough,
Thank
the
you.
destruction of everything helped Galveston.
I don't think so. The people die. All right, the
Well.
Donora Smog. This event was disgusting. See, it's in a,
I heard
it's,
that.
it's in a valley, and so they're putting the pollution up, and it doesn't get out of the valley. And you're in the valley. It's called DOA. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Dead on arrival. This happened in 1948. I was covering it. In the 1948 Donora, this actually moved the environmental movement along, but it took government, 20 years or so to do something because
Yeah.
they were busy with the
Other things.
1964 World Series. The 1948 Donora Smog was a historic inversion. The temperature increases with height.
Yes.
Usually decreases. resulting in a wall of smog that killed 20 people and sickened 7,000 more in Donora, Pennsylvania. A mill town, get this, on the Monongahela. Yes. Say that, it is the Monongahela River, 24 miles
Say that 5 times
southeast of
fast.
Pittsburgh. The event is the basis of the Donora Smog Museum, which you can't see due to the smog. All right. Okay. The smog continued until it rained on October 31st. It started on the 27th, by which time 20 residents of Donora had died. Approximately a third to one half of the town's population of 14,000 had been sickened. Not good. Not good at all. They were manufacturing this stuff. Yeah, right. The Donora was like, oh man, I'm
What are you,
davening
speed
here.
reading
I'm
here?
davening here. It was not until a Saturday morning, the 31st of October. I can't go on. Go ahead. Can't take it.
It was not until Sunday morning, the 31st of October, Halloween, that a meeting occurred between the operators of the plants.
You think they
And-
cared about Halloween now?
I
They
didn't know.
couldn't even see it. Go ahead.
Between the operators of the plants and town officials. Burgess, Chambon,
Yeah, whatever. He played for the Montreal Canadiens.
yeah, probably, requested that the plants temporarily cease operations.
Good idea.
The superintendent of the plants, L.J. Westhaver,
Not L.J. Westhaver. West of what? Westover? That's in Massachusetts.
No, Westhaver,
All right, good.
said the plants already began to shut down operation at around 6 a.m. that morning. With the rain alleviating the smog, the plants resumed normal operation the following morning.
Excellent, by the way.
Great.
We got over 6 minutes. Sorry.
Researchers analyzing the event have focused likely blame on pollutants from the zinc plant, whose emissions had killed almost all vegetation within a half-mile radius of
That
the plant.
wasn't a hint? Am I yelling? That wasn't a hint?
Small hint.
A small hint.
Small
Also, all the
hint.
dead birds and
It's very subtle.
squirrels and the chipmunks and the fish were on the shore going, give me a ride.
It's very subtle.
All right.
Dr. Devra L. Davis.
Dr. Death?
Devra.
Oh, Deborah. Thank you.
Director of the Center for Environmental Oncology at the University of
So
Pittsburgh
that's
Cancer Institute.
See, I can do that.
There you go. You're getting it now. Has pointed to autopsy results showing fluorine levels in victims in the lethal range as much as 20 times higher than normal.
That's
Fluorine
not good.
gas
This is
generated
fluorine, right?
in the zinc smelting process became trapped by the stagnant air and was the primary cause of the death.
Yeah, all the pollution. You cannot get above the inversion, so everything's trapped down
Yeah.
below, and you just keep piling it in.
It just keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker.
That's right.
Unlike your
You
hair.
don't want to do what the Germans said in World War II. Breathe deeply. It's good for you.
Yeah,
Now watch. I'm going to get a thing from Merkel.
probably.
She's not watching. She's the head of Germany.
Aha.
Go
The
ahead.
Donora Smog marked one of the incidents where Americans recognized that exposure to large amounts of pollution in a short period of time can
Slow down.
result in injuries and fatalities.
Hold on.
The event is often credited for helping to trigger the clean air movement in the United States.
Yeah, which is going overboard, in my opinion.
Just a
How
little bit.
clean is clean?
How clean do you need the air?
You need, if you don't have any pollutants in the air, there ain't gonna be any clouds. There ain't gonna be any rain.
Yeah.
You know.
And we're all going to
You-
get sick.
I'm saying, you know.
Yeah, we're
You
all
know.
gonna get
I
sick.
know. Yeah, I know. I'm being interviewed for the Miami.
Who?
The hell are they? Oh,
I
sorry,
don't know.
The Miami losers. What the? The Miami. Damn. The Miami. Well, anyway, the basketball
Heat?
team with King James. The Heat. That was Gloria Estefan and the Miami Heat, right? All right.
Sure.
Thank you, Gloria. By the way, Gloria Estefan. That's the only singer that we have these days you can understand what she's saying. The other ones.
You know, if they didn't have such rampant use of auto-tune,
What?
that's another story for another day.
Go ahead. I can't take it. Go ahead.
The event is often credited for helping to trigger the clean air movement in the United States, whose crowning achievement was the Clean Air Act of 1970, which required the United States Environmental Protection Agency to develop and enforce regulations to protect the general public from exposure to hazardous airborne contaminants.
Not general public, was it? You done?
The general public.
All right. The EPA, when it's run by the Democrats, it's over cleaned.
Over.
They're a pain in the and then I can't read that.
I know I
I
can't.
can't. It's too small. And then when the Republicans in there, okay, let's pollute. All right. Now, by the way, before I forget, we have some time to waste here. So, you want to tell me
Heck,
your
you
life story?
rushed everything.
Speak in here. No, after we do this,
Do this?
do this. You remember him, do this? The next,
I remember Doody.
stop, doody. The next topic is weather modification. Give me, what's with this? Weather modification, it means we can modify the climate. Really? I didn't know.
Climate modification.
That should go on for more than one show, because I got so much stuff. And also on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, baby.
He's tweeting.
I'm on Facebook, too. Let's get this all out in the open.
We gotta get you an Instagram.
I did.
How we can be all hooked up.
Instagram this. No.
Oh my God.
All right. That's from New York. I'm sorry. And I've been twittering away, trying to get. I like that. Trying to get people to pay attention. By the way, the show is in about 10 states now. Yes! But I didn't pay them off. What the hell is that? And also, 2 school districts.
There's
2 school districts that
one try English.
have, but no, 2 school districts are going to use it. Oh, excuse me, are going to use it. I don't want to get the English department upset. And I saying to you, bless you.
Thank
All
you.
right. I'm talking to you. Now, how are you, everybody in the audience, there's nobody here again. People are disgusting.
You gonna finish the last one?
Kim Jong-un. And there's only one of them. And now, this guy is so wacko, it's unbelievable. And what country? North Korea.
North Korea.
So, what?
North Korea.
North Korea, thank you. You may have heard of them.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un
Slow down, because we have to stretch. All right,
has
go ahead.
criticized the official weather service for providing incorrect forecasts.
But he hasn't killed anyone yet.
Yet.
Yeah, like he's correct, right?
In a rare public dressing down of a government body in country which suffers regular natural
Who
disasters.
took their clothes off? You said dressing down. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
Not undressing. Kim criticized the science used in observations,
What science?
the lack thereof, and called for the use of modern equipment during an inspection of the Hydrometeorological Service.
What? That's water and weather
Water
together.
and weather. The official Korean Central News Agency reported on Tuesday.
Speed up.
There are many
42.
incorrect forecasts as the meteorological observation has not been put on a modern and scientific basis.
You wouldn't know it if it hit him in the head. Go ahead.
Accurate
Faster,
forecasts
faster.
are needed to protect the lives and properties of people from disasters caused by abnormal climatic phenomena.
Wait, we can't
he
use
said.
that word. 29, 6X, 25. Go ahead.
Calling the Weather Service very important work directly affecting the overall economic affairs, Kim also underscored the need to modernize meteorological observation equipment at a high level. It was not clear when Kim
right, hold
visited the agency, but public criticism of government
All right,
officials
stop
during
it,
field
stop
trips.
it. We don't have time to. Maybe we should bring it up next time. I have to bring this up. All right. Weather modification. It's been a pleasure with the audience here. Nobody. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for not watching. Thank you. Oh, and we're clear. Or not. I don't know. Where's the theme song written by Charles Aznavour?
Just
Right.
wave.
Hi, nice to see you. Starring Ed Schwartz. Pat a cake, pat a cake, pat. All right, we're still on. Make
Got a
believe you're here.
joke. Before I met him, I said meteorology. Hey, guy, that's not for me. But now I'm weathering the weather with Ed.